What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Monday, April 11th. So we have a lot that we need to get to because now we're starting to see the Democrats' big plan. And this plan that they have, it's actually going to put stimulus in question. It's going to make it very difficult to see any additional relief go to the American people, but this is also going to cause additional problems. We're going to address that. We're going to talk about the retirement problems as well, and also give you a little bit of a daily news report of what we are currently hearing. Now, keep in mind, Congress is away on recess for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to get a lot of these interviews, a lot of reports, a lot of articles written, pretty much telling us what's going to happen or what has been attempted to happen over the past few months. So let's break down what is currently going on. First, talks of additional aid to the American people are still ongoing. This is not something that has ever stopped. But the problem with this is, Democrats would love nothing more than to pass President Biden's Build Back Better Act. They want that. They say it is needed. Now, Republicans are obviously against that. They have been. It's nothing new. But moderates, what they want to see is stability. They want to see stability before Congress goes and tops off social spending programs. And when I say stability, I'm talking about inflation. I'm talking about the possibilities of a recession. I'm talking about this war between Russia and Ukraine. Supply chain issues. Those are the things that moderates want to see stability around. Because right now, everybody's wondering what is going to happen. And with the new CPI reading coming out tomorrow, it's going to be a very telling day of what is to come. The expectation, according to Bloomberg, is that they're expecting that we're going to be right about 8.4 to 8.5% for our headline number. So that's not going to be great because obviously that's up from where we're at today. But at the same time, also according to Bloomberg, they say that March's CPI reading, which comes out tomorrow, that could actually be the peak of inflation, and we could actually see it come down from there. So that's very good news if that is the case, but we won't know that until next month. All right, so we'll know the CPI reading for March tomorrow, but we won't see the CPI reading for April until next month. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, according to Reuters, multiple economists believe that the Fed will deliver at least 2 50 basis point hikes in May and June. Now, this would be a major shift from what they have been doing so far, or what they were projected to do, which was going to be probably 7, 24, 25 basis point rate hikes. But again, they say they have to step it up because they have to tackle runaway inflation. And it's because of this risk that lawmakers are a little hesitant to pass any new funding at this time. But again, this is the world that we live in. We knew by passing these large bills, eventually it was going to come back to us, and we're going to have to pay a little bit more. Well, on top of the Fed raising rates, on top of the risk of more inflation, runaway inflation, right? The risk of passing another bill. On top of all that, economists polled by Reuters, they believe that we have a 40% probability of a recession. And I addressed this yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to watch that video, don't worry. I will bring it up again. But we are going to see what JP Morgan says on Wednesday as to their probability of a recession. Just months ago, they were at 20%. Some economists believe we are now at 28 to 30%. We heard from Reuters. They say we're about 40% probability of recession. If JP Morgan comes in and says we are at 30 to 40%, likelihood of a recession, that's not going to be great news. And the expectation is that we are not going to see more bills pass with new funding. All right? And the expectation is that prices are going to continue to increase as well due to low unemployment numbers and this war still in Ukraine. Now, many are hoping, right? And I can say expecting, but some are expecting Russia is going to run out of their supplies and their resources. And so the war can't drag on for another 6 to 10 months. It will mostly go into May. That's the expectation. So right now, this might not be the best time, or according to multiple economists, it won't be the most opportune time to give the American people more assistance, because we could see additional inflation. Unemployment numbers are still very low, which means people do have money, which means they're more likely to spend. And if you're spending when inflation is running up, it's likely to just keep pushing it up, which again causes more inflation. Not great. But I know you're probably wondering what kinds of relief could be coming, right? That's what you're wondering. Well, this is where things get very tricky. And this is where the Democrats' big plan, and this is kind of what we're seeing. Right now, according to multiple reports, Democrats are saying that they don't want to make any promises that they can't keep. They don't want to talk about any provisions that won't be included into the next bill. And they do not want to set a deadline just to see that they don't have the support to get something done before then. So essentially what they're trying to do is stay quiet about what they're working on. Now, we've heard this before. We've seen the same song sang multiple times that, hey, don't talk about what we're doing. Just wait. Don't talk about it because Republicans are going to jump on us. We saw this when Republicans, with former President Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell said, don't talk about it. Do not talk about it. And then somebody talked about what they were discussing. Democrats jumped all over it and nothing happened. It's the exact same thing, just with Democrats in control. So we're going to see what happens. But right now, what I can tell you is that nothing should be said. But is that the case? Is that really going to happen? No. What we always get is we get leaks. Because lawmakers want to see, do the American people, do they like the provision we're discussing? Oh, so they kind of leak it to the media. Hey, this is what's happening. Don't say I said it, but this is what we're discussing. And then they see, okay, the American people just absolutely don't like that plan. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's try again. That's what we see, or the American people jump all over it. Yes, that's exactly what we want. That's what we've been asking for the past 2 years. Then lawmakers are like, okay, let's run with that. That will be the new direction, and then we can add other provisions on top of it. So again, we'll see what happens, but that is the direction that Democrats are going. That is their big plan, is to let's not discuss things, because that will make it easier to get something done. And then you throw in the other problem is, if you start discussing stuff that you're talking about with Senator Joe Manchin, and Senator Joe Manchin isn't ready for you to discuss that, he's just gonna pretty much stop the whole negotiation and say, you know what, now is not the right time. Let's push that off until later, which he's kind of already done, and saying, let's wait until after July. So we're gonna see what happens here, but as always, I will keep you updated on everything that's going on. Let's talk about retirement for a moment. And I want to bring this up because right now, people who have been retired for some time are finding it very difficult to live. With so many supply chain disruptions, prices are soaring and making it almost impossible for people on fixed incomes to live, especially to live comfortably. And what is actually taking place is that retired individuals are now stepping back into the workforce in order to make some money, because their retirement, their Social Security payments, these are not paying their bills. They just don't have enough money. But now economists say that due to inflationary shock, people are going back to work. And it's not something that they want to do, it's something that they have to do out of necessity. Reports also indicate that roughly 490,000 people over the age of 55 went back into the workforce in the past 6 months. And just to give you an idea, before the pandemic, there was only about 180,000 people over the age of 55 that went back into the workforce in a 6-month period. So we are seeing that it's almost, 2.5 times the amount of people now after the pandemic, simply because of all the stress that has been put on them, all the financial burden that has been put on them, the lack of Social Security payments, right? All these things are starting to compound and add up, and it's pushing people back into the workforce. Some say this is a really good thing because now there's more people working, and by more people working, we bring in more tax revenue. But at the same time, if these are people that are 65, 70, 80 years old going back into the workforce, is that really the best time to be working? No. You spend your whole life working, spend your whole life saving, investing, paying into Social Security. You'd hope there'd be something there for you to help you through your retirement ages, right? Or retirement years. So, what's also very shocking is that during the first year of the pandemic, more than 2.6 million Americans retired earlier than expected. I know a bunch of people that did. You probably do as well. But now what we are hearing is that many of them are forced to go back to work as costs increase, investments are pulling back, and their income just can't keep up. That's a huge issue. One of the things I can tell you right now is there's a lot of people that are just wondering, when are people on retirement? When are people that are collecting Social Security benefits? When are they going to see some additional relief? Well, the reports indicate right now that there's not a lot of discussions for that. And according to the Democrats' big plan is, well, let's not talk about things that we are not sure we can get past. So that's going to be very frustrating because this is kind of how things get going is you bring it up, you get a lot of support, like, okay, yeah, I like that idea. You get some co-sponsors of a bill. That's how things work. But if nobody ever discusses what they're thinking, what their plan is, how are we supposed to move forward? It's going to be very difficult. So that is what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.